The Life of Riley.
Hello, this is the Life of Riley podcast. Welcome back to episode 4 of the podcast. I'm here in my new lounge room. My brother moved out, so now I have a lounge room. I don't know why I'm whispering. I have a lounge room again, so it's been fun trying to set this up. I've also been decluttering a lot, so I've minimized most of my shit to one book stand. I wanted to get bookshelf. I wanted to get rid of the bookshelf, but for a favor of my other one. But I was like, because I've got 2 bookshelves worth of shit on it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need one less bookshelf. I need one less bookshelf. So I got rid of half my books, a lot of shit I didn't want, toys and collectibles. There's still probably a bit much here for my liking and this bad boy which we're going to talk about later. But, you know, it's progress, and it's just one shelf now. I've even got a spare shelf that I can display the shit I have, so it's pretty much a win in my books. I think I should position this over here instead. Get some foliage in there. The Buddha, secretly at the top. Okay, what am I going to talk about today? Let's talk about this. We can focus on that. Can we pull focus to Grimace? Grimace in a McDonald's snow globe, Christmas snow globe, with what looks like shiny gold flakes, reminiscent of probably the color of the brand and the chips. Is anyone weirded out about this? Corporation using Christmas as a way to market. Oh wait, no, that's just normal. Holy shit. Yeah, it's Black Friday season. It's currently the 2 days before Black Friday, and we want to hold some space for all the retail workers that are about to go through hell, literally. Treated like hell, work long hours. Yeah, it's going to be hell for all our retail workers going forward. But anyway, yeah, it's just so interesting that McDonald's would be synonymous with Christmas, like in some other countries. Japan, I think, you have KFC on Christmas Day. They've actually get orders of chicken, buckets of chicken months in advance. You got to pre-order your Christmas dinner. It's just so much synonymous with Christmas as a whole, and that's, I guess, what the gift giving season is all about. Buying and giving gifts to show love, which is a shallow representation of what connection is. And it's the fact that it's just, I don't know what I'm going to get you for Christmas. I got to get you something. I can't just experience time with you, be with you. I have to get you something to show you that I love you. And then you have to get me something as well. And it better be something that I like. Otherwise, it's just going to sit in my spare room forever. I can't get rid of this. Someone got it for me. You feel so guilty getting rid of something that you got as a gift. But how I give gifts is I say, I'm passing this on to you. Whatever you do with it, it's yours 100%. Throw it out, sell it, use it. I would rather you get value from it. But whatever you do with it, it's none of my responsibility. So, I kind of try to free people of that burden, because I feel so much of that burden myself, things that my mum's given me that I, don't want anymore, or old clothes that don't fit. It's just it feels wasteful, because we came from such a circumstance of not lack, we were comfortable middle class, but it's preservation of resources was such an important part of how we interacted with items, food, clothes. Don't wreck your clothes. You dare to live and experience the world and move and explore and use activities that may damage your clothes. But don't do that, because you got to preserve the clothes. So limit your experience, whereas your material items are preserved for a longer period of time. And listening to the Minimalist podcast a lot, it all goes to the landfill in the end anyway. Trophies, clothes, memorabilia, photos, experiences, lives, not experiences, but just like a conduit which you feel experiences flow through. Things from people, they're like, I can't get that. I can't get rid of it because they gave it to me. But it's like, or I guess memorabilia or like souvenirs more so of trips. And it's like, when I went on like occasional like trips when I was a kid, it was so amazing to like experience other parts of the world that wasn't just, going from home to school and then to a sport. So I would like get, as if I had some spending money, I would just spend it all on all these trinkets and souvenirs. Like we went to like Bali and I got like Indonesian masks and stuff, like, and held on to it for so long and had tubs of shit. And it's like, didn't feel like I could get rid of it because it reminded me of such a happy memory. But the thing isn't the memory. The thing is just a conduit that you channel the memory through. And it's like, and it's just an excuse to do that. Like by having the thing, it's like, I can think of it and I can remember how good that time was, but that time will still be good or bad regardless of the thing that you have, and you can still remember it without it. It's not like, if I don't have it, I'll never think that thought again. And, even if that was true, like you're busy experiencing new thoughts and new life, that it's like, how much time can you spend reminiscing? And it will happen. I think even just talking to people that you experience that with, staying up a late night, having a chat and reminiscing about stuff, that's way more valuable than like holding onto a trinket for 20 years that just takes up space and like gets in the way, but you feel guilty because you can't throw it out, but you also don't really like having it. So it's like you spend so much time manipulating yourself into keeping it, but also feeling shit about it the whole time. So that's something that's really helped reinvent like the way I look at things and my relationship with things. Even on this shelf, like I got this Naruto from my siblings when we were overseas, and it was really cool, but it's like just a cheaply made plastic thing, and I like Naruto a lot, but it's like it's nice. But if I had like 8 of them, they would just be taking up space. Like there's another one that my brother gave me when I was a little kid. It's like these things I kept, but like the teetering. If I didn't have space for them, I would have let them go. But because I cut down on all my books and media and records so much, to just the ones that cutting down the books is an interesting story as well. Just the ones that I need or wanted or have intention to read, rather than ones that I know I'll never read. Now I have a whole shelf left, so I had space to actually display these things that I would have chucked out otherwise. So I'm just limiting it to this, and even this is a bit too cluttered. But, I'm still in the process of transforming the space, so it's not, die that I need to get rid of it right now. But yeah, like this thing here. This is a freaking cookie jar that my gran got me like so many years ago. I think her partner, who was a cop, got it, and then like he didn't want it, so it got passed down to me. And like I don't have anyone in my life that's a police officer. I don't feel an affiliation to the police, so it's so weird that I have it. But it does this.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar. Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.
That probably redlined the hell out of it, but it's you open his head and you put cookies in it, but like there's like folds, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that. There's like folds, like gaps in the material, plastic. There's like places for crumbs to get stuck. It's just like an awful design inside. It's not even like it's designed for cookies inside. But it's a cookie cop, and he says, "Get away from the cookie jar." So you think you put cookies in there, but then
Move away from the cookie jar.
bruh. But then when you do, like, because there's so many, like, I guess places that the screws, when they screw it together for the screws to be flush, it's like plastic that like levels, And then you try to put your hand in there, but you can't because it's not like big enough. And then the cookies get stuck and like break. They get stuck and break as you're trying to pull them out, and they crumble. And that is how the cookie crumbles. So it's like, and then I experimented with just like putting paper in there first, so it's like kind of like a nice shell for it, but then the paper gets moved around and stuff. I need to blow my nose. I would sneeze like multiple times. I never sneeze just once. It's always like 7 times, and then my nose is running, my eyes are watery for like half an hour. Okay, so I probably sound a bit congested. All right, what was I talking about? Yeah, so its function as a cookie jar is really shit, and it's kind of a metaphor for like having this thing that doesn't do what it does properly, and holding on to it because of a story you're telling yourself that it's valuable because it got passed on by someone that you know and love, and it's a memory of them, but it doesn't even work. So it's just literally taking up space, aligned with something I don't identify with, like having a cup or a mug or something or a jersey even of a football club that you don't support. It's like it just doesn't make sense for you to hold on to, because you're not even going to use it, or it doesn't work as intended. The minimalists talk about a good thing called that was like, if your thing was an employee and it wasn't doing the job it was designed to do, would you not fire them? Like if you had an employee and they were working for your company and they weren't doing their job and this costing you money, that's, obviously a negative asset. So you're going to like get rid of it. And if it's a thing, like it might not be costing you money right now, but it's costing you space. It's costing you peace. Like every time you look at it, if you feel bad about it, and then you tell yourself you want to get rid of it, and then you tell yourself you can't get rid of it. That's like a multi-leveled like conversation that you're having with yourself every time you see the friggin' thing. And then if you just get rid of it, like you can get peace. And it's kind of the opposite of what I said. Like just getting rid of a thing, it doesn't mean you'll never think about it again. But it's like that's talking about memories, and this is talking about clutter. So there is a chance you will never think about a thing again because you don't want to even. If it's stressing you out so much, you can let it go and just never think about it again. And if anything, when you do think about it, it will be like, oh, thank God I got rid of that. Imagine if I was still suffering. Imagine if I was still beating myself up about holding on to this thing and then also not being able to let go of it. Like, it's just so much work, and it's just so, like, why even do it to yourself? Let's talk about going back to uni. Okay. Should you go back to university? Are you at somewhere in your life that you feel like you could be more, become more, do more, be happier, serve your like highest purpose, or follow your dreams? Really, follow your dreams. I'm studying my Bachelor of Film. I attempted to do this course 9 years ago. What I found after an experience through high school, I guess, I am pretty quick at getting context. I think that if I had a power, it would be like guessing an outcome based on context, that I can derive pretty quickly and easily. So, like, that directly relates to movies and guessing the plot twist before it happens. I'm quite good at, or like understanding the characters, what they're about to say even. I often spook my friends out by seeing a movie we haven't seen and quoting like them as they're about to say it or saying it currently. Joking, being like, oh, yeah, I bet she's going to say like, they can't. Even it happened in The Conjuring, right? Conjuring 3, it was like love. They wanted to tear up our love apart or something like that. And I was just like, but love will keep us together. And they're like, but they didn't realize that it's our love that keeps us together. Oh my fucking God. Like, that's obviously just an example of a really obvious one, but this is kind of like a language that I'm familiar with. Anyway, how it contributes to my high school is I was pretty good at doing all the assignments without really any homework. Literally, like, no homework. Apart from times that it demanded it. So, in year, like, 7, I was a really good student. I really cared about, like, getting the highest grade, perfect attendance, appearing professionally and, whatever. But, yeah, I burnt myself out, I think. And then I realized, what am I doing all this work for? Like, I'm smart enough to just be able to complete the test, do the essay or whatever off, like, just the top of my head and wing it. And that was dangerous because it's pretty much how I treated the rest of my high school experience. Yeah, I would half-ass projects or no-ass it and just, like, coast through on the exam day. So I guess when I say this to my mum, she says, you're too hard on yourself. But it's like, this feels like my experience, but I guess take this with a grain of salt, that I could be thinking about it through a lens of, like, hustle culture. It's like, you're not working enough, because I feel like I didn't do anything, but, like, I probably literally did. But this is kind of my experience, I guess, and how I'm retelling it is I got really into video games instead, and League of Legends, which wasted, 10 years of my life. That's a good, actual, reoccurring thing, wasting 10 years of my life. So, coasting through school, having issues with bullying and stuff, made me reactive, defensive, lazy, just looking for the easy way out and looking to indulge myself as much as possible. So is all the way coming up to, finals in school, at the end, where you get what's called an ATAR score, which basically determines where you go after uni with, like, what universities will take you in, is how high your ATAR score is. I, like, fucking freaked out, dude, and had, like, an emotional breakdown because I was like, fuck, I actually haven't learned anything. I don't know anything. This is the most pressure I've ever felt, and I'm a fraud, and I'm going to flunk out, and I don't know anything, and I wasted my life. And I think this is a bit perpetuated by the culture around finals and around ATARs and around, like, categorizing human beings at, student level into a number set that's meant to be like a indicator of their, their future experience in life and contribution to society. So yeah, I did really bad because I didn't know anything. And pretty much from there, I thought I wanted to do games development for a long time, but I'm really bad at math. I didn't engage myself in mathematics at all to grow. So I thought, and all the prereqs were, like, heavy math subjects, so I thought that was over. Because I spent so much time playing games, I just assumed that's what I wanted to do. And, like, I know that I've always been a storyteller, and games are a great way to tell stories, so I just thought that was natural. Disregard the fact that I've been making films my entire freaking life, dude. I got a a cassette camera, for my Christmas present when I was, like, 13, and just, like, made tons of, recorded everything, like holidays, which will come up later. Holidays. I gotta blow my nose one more time. Did I really fucking have something on my chin and you guys didn't tell me? What the fuck? That's fucked up. Anyway, yeah, I would record everything, holidays. They only gave me one cassette tape, so I didn't realize I would just pretty much record over the same thing again and again. I didn't, I guess, think to ask for another one, or just not know enough about how it worked, but just trying and filming, like, little skits and little movies of my family. And I've always done that. And I've always wanted to like do YouTube. I've always been like, I've launched tons of channels and made like 3 videos and then just stopped because I didn't get any traction. But I guess, you know, obviously the flaw is I was looking for validation externally and not doing it because I loved it. Which is a pretty good summary of my whole life. But anyway, I thought I wanted to do games. I didn't have a good ATAR enough to get into a games course or a mathematical background. So at the same university that I wanted to do games, I saw they was doing a film course that didn't have an ATAR requirement. What the frick? No ATAR requirement? So yeah, I went there, but I really wasn't ready for studying at that level. I don't know why I thought that was... Well, I do think I know why. I was pushed into it because my mom didn't want me to take a gap year because she says when you take a gap year, you get really good at just like getting money in a paycheck and you don't want to study more. And ultimately she was right. But that's why I went straight into it and I really wasn't ready for it. And I didn't even have a relationship with film that I do now and an understanding that like, or I guess a perception that I'll just like, I'm happy capturing events in life and capturing the human experience in like, I guess a non-narrative form. I think the best film I've ever made is when I filmed our family trip to Bali. I just had a little shitty Samsung like camera, like a normal camera that could also just do video, and so I just used it as a video camera. And its zoom was crazy good, like 100 times zoom or some shit. It was, and I just recorded a lot of stuff, and it was weird. Like me and my cousin were like, "Hi, like welcome to my vlog," you know, like picking fun at it to like take away cringe from it by like noticing, like pointing it out, I guess. And it's a beautiful film of us just experiencing those places in Bali and experiencing each other through like family dinners and like funny waiters and stuff. And it has now my now past grandma in it. And she says all of the funny quotes that we quote back when we think of her in the film. She says all of our names in the film. It's honestly like if you could get, you know, if you could have a film with like all the best of your relative that you'll cherish, it's pretty much that. And it's everything else. It's our experience with each other. So it's like now it's this beautiful gift that I have to give to my family, that they can also, yeah, I guess, have the thing that reminds them of the thing opposite of what I'm talking about, with, you know, clutter. But like a good way is to digitize these things. Like if you have photos, digitize them so you know, they don't ever deteriorate. But it's this beautiful gift. And when I was recording them, I could tell from watching back the footage and editing it, you know, 10 years later, they were just like, what the hell? What are you doing? Like the grown-ups were like, my dad at the start is like, what are you doing? Taking pictures? And I'm like, filming. He's like, oh, why are you filming? I'm like, I don't know, to remember. And I don't know, to remember is was the driving force of now this beautiful historical artifact that we hold. I just saw someone walk past. But yeah, now we get this beautiful thing. And even though they were hating on me, not to me, but like, and I'm just projecting what I think they're thinking, but just from, you know, the footage, I can derive that they were like weirded out or annoyed by it. But now I have this thing and they get to share in this thing. So it's like, oh shit, I've always been this filmmaking dude. I just lost who I was for a long time because of high school, pretty much. You know, high school changed everyone's perceptions and made everyone not shallow, but judgmental, pretty much. Anyway, studying at university, I think I just I was staying with my gran, and I watched The Office a lot instead of doing homework. It was the first time I watched The Office, and it was fucking great, but I was using that as an excuse to not study. Well, you know, whatever it is, The Office, playing games, doing whatever. I just wasn't mentally equipped to dedicate myself when I had coasted my whole time. And my first project I failed, and my second project I failed. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta like, quickly like try. And so like I did start trying, and we made like a pretty cool little film called The Other Half, about like an Adam and Eve type stuck in the Garden of Eden, fighting over this gem that splits when they like fight over it, and then they get transported to like different dimensions and have to find each other back through joining the gem in the same, like, I guess, lateral space that that they occupy. So, but me, even though I was ready to start working, I wasn't ready as a person to, I guess, be in environments that demanded cooperation, because I was just a reactive, reflective, not reflective, reactive, judgmental, definitely defensive person because of my experience of being bullied and like abusive step parents. I was a shell, reactive shell, not unconscious about myself and my experience and thoughts and state of mind. And I just lashed out at people that I thought were being incompetent. A trait that I have tried to transmute into, well, I have transmuted. I still am like one to speak out, but not when people are doing inadequate work, unless it was constructive and private to them. I'm more like speaking out against injustice or like unfair circumstances or hypocrisy, I suppose, now. And so like I still carry some of those traits of being quick to jump to, I guess, definitely quick to jump to outcomes in my mind that are negative, which is a trait I'm still working on. But yeah, after university, well, I had to drop out eventually. My grand passed away, and they wanted to sell her house, so I had to move. I think she was going to hospice, and they wanted to sell it, so I had to move. I moved to somewhere closer by than where I live, but like still 1 hour away instead of 2 hours away, and living with my uncle and my cousin at the time. Like, if I was a reactive, like, defensive mess, whatever, he had triggered stuff in me that made us like act like that against each other as well. Like, I wasn't allowed to sit in certain chairs in the house, or I wasn't allowed to touch anything in the house, and I was allowed to stay in this one corner and not exceed the corner, or like I don't know, it was a bad experience and not nice to live with that type of person. But I'm sure I was giving back energy of defensiveness, like judgmentalness, just as much as he was. So then eventually my uncle wanted to move in with his fiance, so then they wanted to sell their house. So then I moved back to Bendigo. And I was taking the train until I couldn't afford to take the train anymore. Back then, going a train ticket round trip was like $24, $30 a day on a student concession, which is now like $6. So I literally couldn't afford it because I didn't have work, because I got terminated from my casual shifts, or I guess part-time shifts at Woolworths, because I was going to move to Melbourne and get a transfer, but I just didn't follow it up and then got terminated. So moved back to Bendigo, have no money, a parental figure promised to support me during that time, but they didn't, because they didn't agree with the profession that I was studying and thought it was a waste of time. So they refused to support me, which, I'm 18 then, so it's like there's no obligation to. So, and they had their own issues they were working through, so I don't hold them accountable for supporting me through my life. But it did make it impossible to keep going. So I stopped. I was really depressed for a few months, and I essentially went on JobSeeker, finally got a job at a tech company, and then worked there for 9 years. I learned a lot about the real world, about personalities. I was still that version of myself And it's only now that I've manifested into, I guess, a more aware version of myself, let's say, and less reactive, less concerned with other people's opinions and perceptions, and not trying to cater myself while doing mental gymnastics of what I think their perception of me is and how they want me to act, and then acting about how I think they want me to act, which I'll expand on. But yeah, I actually learned a lot, grew up a lot, and then I slowly started to get more depressed because I realized now that, and then I guess, that wasn't my passion, and I had a higher calling that I wasn't going to. So I, instead of stopping, raised in the ranks, I moved up the scale to a management role. And lo and behold, another threshold guardian. I would constantly bump heads with my superior. We had way different opinions of how things should be done. And I guess I was in somewhat of a transformative state because it was when I had started going to therapy, which kind of really started everything. My therapist that the company paid for just said, man, you should quit that job. You should not be working there. And then I kept working there. And lo and behold, my life got harder and it got worse. Harder to live. At one point, on one particularly bad day of fighting with my superior, they said that I was proposing that some things could be approached better from a top-down point of view, and they contrared by saying it can't be better. It's just how I say it is. It's bad because they're bad people, and you live in fucking fairy floss land. And I was like, whoa. I live in fairy floss land. As in the land that everything's made of fairy floss? Like, isn't that the best place in the world? Like, isn't that the best world? If everything's fairy floss, what the fuck? But yeah, that really struck a chord with me and really fucked with me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call up my university, even though it's been 9 years of deferring, not dropping out, deferring. I'm going to finally go back, because if I have to spend another bad fucking day at work, I don't want it to be in this place that I, A, like, aren't aligned with my values, B, I'm not putting my best work into, based off, other external factors or internal factors, and C, I'm not following my passion. So I finally made the call. I made the call to my uni, and they answered the phone. Hello, Riley. Hello, Riley. You might be thinking they knew my number, but the person who answered the phone was also named Riley. But it was like a warm welcoming. Hello, Riley. Hello, welcome to your future. Hello, welcome to your passion. Hello, Riley. A familiarity that I wasn't expecting, that was unintentional, but it just spoke to me in the moment. It was one of the lowest days I've had, and a warm hello, Riley. Maybe he said hello, Riley speaking. And I was like, hello, Riley speaking? I don't know. It was like, hello, Riley speaking. I'm like, oh, you know my name? I'm Riley. Anyway, so, like, it was such a nice message, it felt like, to go back, and I did. And I am there now. And my life has become so much more open and just great, honestly. Like, I still work at the place, like, casually, like, and as little as one shift a month, getting broke, but following my dreams. It's not even about should you leave your job to go to work, to go back to university because it's better or worse. It's like, are you ready to open yourself up to become more? because that's ultimately what my experience at university has been. Finishing continuing my course, going back into it, I had an idea that I wanted to be a writer director, and nothing else really interested me. Like, I didn't know anything about cameras, cinematography. Like, I would actively say, "Oh, you like cameras? Oh, thank God, so I don't have to do it. Like, we're gonna be a good partnership." And it was just like a way for my ego to then limit my identity. And I realized a lot of people, like, if getting feedback for their scripts or stuff, would be really defensive or reactive. And I was like seeing the me that I used to be when I started entering the workforce, like, full time, and the person who I was the first time at university. This is 9 years later, so I've had a lot of time to grow and gone through therapy and relationships and life experiences and deaths. So I'm just more aware of myself and my feelings and emotions and behaviors that I'm attributing to, obviously, life experience. But yeah, anyway, I would notice people and myself being like, I'm not a camera person. I don't want to touch the camera. I'm not an editor. I don't want to edit it. I can't do this. So it's like, if the one role I can do is not available, I just can't help on the film at all. And I viewed, like, something, or I just have to do grunt labor, like be a gaffer, which I'll talk about later. But what I was really doing was not saying what I was. It was limiting what I was. I wasn't telling people I'm a writer director. I was saying I'm only a writer director. So at some point my philosophy changed to be like, I'm going to say yes to everything. Well, not everything, but quite so many fucking things that everyone is like, what the fuck are you, like, how are you on every film? Like, every time I look at Instagram, you're posting like you're on set. Like, the man has a finger in every pie. All these people are like glazing me for being in everything, but I'm just not turning down anything based off what my perception of my experiences are. And I know it's obvious that, like, you're not something until you do it, I guess. Like, I'm not a camera person, but then I started using the camera and then now I am a camera person. And it's like, I thought I didn't like the camera, but what I really was experiencing was an unfamiliarity with using the camera and the experience and, like, the buttons and all, like, what the settings do. Because I was unexperienced with that, I shied away from it and I rejected it because I'm like, that's not me. But it's like, then I couldn't, it's true. If I'm saying that's not me, it never will be me. But I wanted to be more. So I was like, I'll just fucking do it. And I turned everything that I was scared of or didn't like into now something I do like because I'm good at it. And people actually identify me with that thing, even though I don't or wouldn't have, like, 6 months ago. Like, when some people found out I was director of photography for a capstone film, which is like a graduating film, and I'm like graduate in the middle of next year. I was director of photography for one of them, and they were like, what the hell? Like, well, some people were like, what the hell do you do that? And then the other people were like, of course, like, you're a cinematographer. And I'm like, like, that's funny that you would think that, because if you knew me 6 months to a year ago, you would be saying, you'd hear me saying, I don't want to touch a fucking camera. Like, I don't know anything about cameras. Like, I don't know. So it's just like, sorry for keying the camera. Shit. It's just interesting. And then the other people that, are still rejecting parts of growth, are the ones that are getting left behind and then wondering how I'm doing it. I'm just doing it and becoming more in part of the process. So that's how I view going back to university. If you have an interest, and you want to become more and work in that interest, or just like have that interest become part of you and your experiences and your, I guess, skill set, that's what it's for. I don't think it's a guaranteed job in the industry. I think it's just like becoming more and knowing more about something you're interested in. Like, obviously, as being a doctor, and people might not be interested in being a doctor, but it's a noble job and career, I suppose. And they're doing it for that because of their parents told them to, or they expect it to be a good thing based on perceived social economic value. But if they're doing it from a purpose point of view, like, that's the best way to look at it. and becoming more, like knowing more. I don't think it's I don't think it's ever a destination. I think it's a journey of becoming. I think that the more you know about something, the less, I guess, assumptions you make about it. So the more you feel like you don't know anything or you question everything. I think there's some doctors that are like, we don't know shit about medical like stuff, because they know so much that we don't even realize that we don't know. It's like the brain, like so much stuff about the brain we have no idea of, and we only know we have no idea of because we have looked into the things that we can tell what they do, and then we see how much we don't know what happens. Or even like chimps being like, I don't know, 90 whatever number, 99% of similarities to humans in a DNA test. It doesn't tell us how close chimps are to humans. It tells us our whole understanding of how we were measuring how close things are doesn't even make sense anymore, because if we're 99% similar to a thing and it's so obviously different, our whole like measuring system is way out of order. So yes, I think you should go back to university if you want to become more and grow and experience life in a new way, especially if you feel like you're trapped, you hate your job, you're going into work every day miserable, and that's reflecting how you interact with the world and interact with like customers or clients. And then they tell that you're negative, and then they think you're bad at your job, but you were great at your job at one point. You were even near the top 10 in the country, but now you're just letting it slip because you know it's not aligned with who you are or who you aspire to be. And it's only through becoming more and like increasing your scope of experience that you'll, I guess, find peace, because you're not experiencing it now, and not looking into other ways to experience and find peace. If you don't look for it, you won't get it, because you'll be doing what you're doing now, which is already not working. So if you're really finding that you're unhappy, you have to become more. Like raise your awareness of yourself and why you feel like that, or what you're even feeling, especially tropes that you're feeling of, like, I guess, buying into consumerism, the idea that purchasing things will complete me and make me feel better in my life. And you might get a boost of serotonin when you buy it, but now you just have the thing, what, forever? Like, if you don't declutter and throw shit out, you're just going to have it, a mausoleum of stuff, and then you'll die because you'll be buried under all your stuff. So I've been decluttering a lot because it's been helping me to then see a room or a shelf that's now empty, that used to be packed with shit that didn't even look nice because it had so much shit in it. Like, now that's just space and clarity and peace when I perceive it. And this, like, because I've been decluttering so much and getting rid of stuff, I like almost want to hold on to this grimace McDonald's fucking consumerism fucking piece of shit plastic. It's not even glass. That just advertising itself and its logo into your fucking brain. I almost want to keep this as a testament to stuff and a testament to consumerism, as like an art piece, because it's probably the least artistic or like least special, least sentimental item I think that anyone could possibly own, is a fucking plastic thing that comes with a McDonald's meal. That's like satirizing a holiday of experiencing time and love and connection with your loved ones that was really just an ad for fucking Coca-Cola, but we look past that dark truth. It's an excuse to spend time with your family and experience life together, and McDonald's is taking that and plastering its fucking logo all over it. So that's how I feel about this McDonald's, the Grinch Dr. Seuss, which also, why are they putting the Grinch Dr. Seuss in there? Just like another cash grab for the IP. Thank you, Dr. Seuss's wife that controls all the IPs. I think a Cat in the Hat movie with Tim Allen would have been really bad, He kind of would look like fucking weird as shit. And Mike Myers still looks like a nightmare, but at least he's funnier. It was originally going to be Tim Allen. I have so much to talk about, but I don't know which subject to talk about. I guess no one is really mad at you. No one is ever really mad at you. That's like the fucking hook, right? No one is really mad at you. Nobody is really mad at you. I'm trying TikTok hooks. This is how to find out that nobody's really mad at you. Yeah, nobody's really mad at you, okay? And here's my explanation of why. When you go through the world, you have an experience of life. You feel things, you touch things, you see things. Things happen in certain sequences that your brain will recognize as a pattern that allows you to perceive a future in your head that these patterns will remain the same, or at least similar enough that you can reasonably guess what your experience will be, oncoming. Whether this is living in a town or a city, like your experience is that the shops will sell you goods for money, cars will drive on the road and not on the footpath, people won't stab you to death, people will just do their job, walk past each other, go into their house, eat, whatever, watch TV. Like, this is your idea of the world. In the past it wasn't. Before even, I guess, agriculture, you had no idea what your day would be like. You would not, like, obviously you would, like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to kiss wife, and then I'm going to go and find food. But the food's not always in the same spot. That's guaranteed when it's, say, agriculture, when it's farmed, but animals don't stay in the same spot. I guess, there might be migration paths or something. I don't really know much about animal fucking migration, but I know if you go into that same spot every day, there won't just be a deer there waiting for you to kill it, so you can feed yourself, or berries will be picked and you'll pick all of them. Maybe they'll grow back there again, but when you gotta wait for that to happen. So it's not always expected what's going to actually happen. So I guess this society that we're in now allows you to have a reasonable idea of what will happen and the interactions that will happen within it. It's like a frame of how you think the world will be, or a frame of a conversation with a worker at a checkout, right? Hi, how you going? Yeah, good, thanks. Would you like a bag? Yeah, thanks. How's your day been? Yeah, pretty good. Yours? Yeah, not bad. Finish soon. Oh, nice. All right. Have a nice day. All right, bye. Thanks. Hey, how you going? Yeah. How you doing? Nice. Yeah, nice. You want a bag? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hey, how's your day been? Yeah, pretty good. Hey, your day been? I'm gonna finish soon. All right. It's not a real conversation, obviously. Like, it's just small talk. Small talk has a cool feature about societally having the expectation of what a normal person interaction would be. If they can't do small talk, then they will think that if someone can't do small talk, then you're like, oh, they're weird. If you were just like, hey, how you going? Oh, my life's shit. My fucking dog died. My fucking wife left me. I want to kill myself. I want to do fucking heroin under a bridge. You're like, whoa, dude, you just meant to say not bad. How about you? So yeah, I don't know if it's a good way. I don't really know if I believe in good or bad inherently, but it's a way that we have used to socially wean out, like, I guess, antisocial or in like alternative personalities, or probably neurodivergent personalities if you look at it. It's a way to ping that they are not normal and I should be cautious when I'm interacting with them. So that's the function of small talk, I believe. What was my point? So it's not even a real conversation, because you're just testing them to see if they're going to be weird and stab you or murder you or, something. So small talk's not real. If you try big talk, in those social settings don't really, care about big talk anyway. Anyway, you have a reasonable expectation of how things will go and the conversations that you have within it. Especially if you perceive that something will go one way, and then if it doesn't go that way, I guess we've been so blessed or so... what's the word? We've been so conditioned to, I guess, get what we want or understand the situation based in the parameters that we expect, that when things don't happen in the order that we think will happen, or someone acts in a way that you didn't perceive would be the way that they would act, there's a discontinuity between the reality that you've perceived and then the reality that took place. And it's only because those two things don't equal death that we even can have issues with them. Because if you leave your house and you think, there ain't going to be a tiger that eats me, and then a tiger eats you, well, there's nothing to worry about because you're already dead. But because it's not life or death anymore, if you say, I'm going to go to this retail setting and get this thing at this price, and then it's actually not that price because the sale's ended, now the disconnection between reality and what you expected reality to be, you've realized it's not true, that you like what you perceived, and now your anxiety has spiked, and now you are angry that it's not what you perceived, and you want it to be what you perceived it to be because you expected that to be how it is, and now you're going to lash out in order to, I guess, attempt to close the gap between those two realities to make your reality the real one and the actual reality not exist anymore. Pretty much, you're going to shatter reality to overlap your perceived reality over something else. So when someone acts in a way that you don't like, if someone's acting up and you have a go at them, you are not recognizing that their actions are aligned with the true reality, and you are instead imposing your reality upon them. You are saying, if they dropped your favorite cup or something, if they dropped your favorite cup and broke it, now you're angry at them, or you're upset with them, but it's like you're not even upset with them because they just did what reality is, which is the cup dropped. What you want is the reality that the cup didn't drop. And it's because you want that reality so bad. Now you're trying to shape external reality or punish external reality because it's not coherent with what you wanted. So you're getting hung up on a reality that doesn't exist. And you're lashing out. You're feeling a negative behavior, a negative feeling. And now you're lashing out because you feel like they are an outlet for your negative behavior and feeling to channel it towards them because reality isn't what you guessed it would be. It's same with a football match. Like, your team doesn't win and you're pissed off. It's because you wanted them to win but reality says they didn't win. And it's only because you're determining that reality is not, correct or the, truth. So you're lashing out, but it's like, don't change it. It's kind of, touching on the worry about things you can control, because it's like, well, the fact of the matter is your team didn't win. If you get upset or you don't get upset, it doesn't change anything. All you can do is accept it and be at peace and move on, because it was always going to be like this. I guess the same is true for when everyone's mad at you. They have an idea of an experience and you acted in a way that didn't align with that experience, and now they're taking it out on you to punish you for daring to exist in a universe where what they thought would happen wouldn't happen. So, an example. Someone goes into a retail store. All my examples are retail based. What the fuck? Someone comes into a store and they ask for a service that you don't provide. They've decided that they can't do a thing, and they've decided that you're the one to do it. And they're, in their perception, they're like, I'm going to go into the store and they're going to do this thing that I can't be bothered or don't want to look into, or I'm rejecting from my personality reality and not becoming more. I'm deciding that this can only happen based off external people, and I will only be happy if this thing gets done by an external person. Oh God, if that doesn't get done, oh boy, I'm not going to be happy. And obviously, they're basing their happiness or contempt or like peace on someone else doing something for them, which is a bad place to base your peace, because it's like you can't make anyone ever do anything for you. You can't actually get anyone to do anything. Like, you can tell them by threatening something, but they're only doing it because of the loss of resource that they will gain, that will have because of not doing it, because you're the threatener and your reality says they do this, and if they don't do it, then you fire them and they lose money. So like, they're incentivized to do it so they can still have money even though they don't want to. So it's like, are you really making them do it, or are you just taking away their resource if they don't do it? They come into the store and they want you to do something you don't do. If you do it, you are a good customer. You have great customer service. They will say, oh, the customer service is always great here. They'll even open with that as like a way to hook you into doing the thing by like putting an emotional guilt trip on you and putting their expectations on you. You guys always do this when I come in and ask. Like, no, we don't. You're just lying to get, emotional leverage in order for me to do it. You're preying on my sympathy because you are not willing to do it yourself, or not willing to become more, not willing to learn about it. So it's like, if I do the thing that you come in and want me to do, then I have good customer service. If I don't do it, then I'm a rude person. I'm a piece of shit. I have bad customer service. I am ruining it. I'm the reason they're never going to come back here again. So it's like, again, they're not making me do it. They're saying, what they're essentially saying is, I'm going to hold you emotionally hostage. If you do the thing I want, I'm going to leave. If you don't do, I'm going to throw so much negative energy at you and try to tear down your character that you will do it anyway. So pretty much what I want is going to get done. Do you want me to do it the easy way, or do you want me to do it the hard way? Because I can stand here and yell and demean you for hours. I've got truly nothing going on. I wouldn't instead be wanting to spend the time to learn about whatever the thing is and do it myself and become more, so I don't have to rely on this tactic of manipulation. But no, I'd rather just do the easy way and try to get it done by using emotional currency instead. I know the people around the corner do it as a service that's paid, but it's cheaper for me to come and harass you for an extended period of time than to just pay someone to do it. So it's like, what type of person thinks like this? And I think it's a lot of people, and it's a lot of people that aren't aware of how they're going through the world. And what they're really mad at is, again, their relationship to their perception of how things should be, how things are, how people should act. And when things don't align with that, they get really pissed off because they've decided that what they think should be the way, and anything outside of that is like negative or because of something else or bad. It's just like, and then it's their job to course correct the world by using tactics of manipulation in order to do that. So I guess that's a really long-winded way to kind of intro my point of no one's really mad at you. Because no one is mad at you, they're mad at themselves for having a perception that doesn't align with reality. But they're not ready to see that yet, so they're going to take it out on you because you are a threshold guardian to awareness. They're not really mad at you, they're mad at their experience and their relationship with their own experience of reality. And they don't like the fact that reality doesn't align to what they thought it would. and they're going to externally try to manipulate the situation or the people in order to align it to what they want it to be. So it's like, it's obviously selfish, and it's obviously like the level of awareness isn't there that you actually, you know, what you're perceiving is the source of your unhappiness. So yeah, I think I realized when this, I realized this through therapy. I got good at reading someone's personality or mood or behavior or what they were thinking in their head. I'm like, oh, I can tell what you're thinking. And like, I can tell you're pissed off. So what I'm going to do is overcompensate and act in a way that I think will make you feel better in order to make you feel better. So I've decided what you're thinking, and I've decided it needs to be different. And I've decided that I'm going to take action to course correct based on how I think you should think. But that's not fucking real. Hello? There's actually zero way to tell what anyone else is thinking. I don't know if you know. You might be clowning yourself by thinking you can tell, but really, you can't. And you might be right some of the time, but also you're probably wrong 99% of the time. And you can actually correct this by asking people, like, hey, I'm just curious. I'm thinking that you're thinking this. And they'll be like, what? You know, but you wouldn't say that, right? Because it's a weird proposition to say. So what you could do is instead not bother trying to guess what they're thinking. You know, you can hold yourself in a place of anxiety and shame by guessing that everyone else is thinking bad things about you. But really, you're literally thinking those things. You're using the mask of it's their things, that what they're thinking, and then they're thinking about you and reflecting that to you. And you're like, oh, I'm guessing that he's thinking I'm fat. But it's like, what I'm really doing is saying, I think I'm fat, and I'm pretending that he's the voice that it's coming from. And then now I'm going to act in a certain way because I'm ashamed of that fact. So now I'm going to try to course correct what he thinks. I'm going to act in a way that won't make him think that thought as much, I guess. But really, it's just you thinking that thought, and he could be thinking about something else. And really, it's none of your business even if he is thinking that, because you can't tell. And then here's the thing, right? You do something bad and you disappoint someone, or something happens and it's like, okay, he's thinking I should be here, like I should be acting like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a table read of your emotion, and then I'm going to try to act in that way, because then you won't be thinking negative things about me. But then what actually happens, which I found out through being a people pleaser my entire fucking life, is that you start acting like this, and then they're like, oh, actually he should be this. What the fuck? If you act a certain way, or like that they're expecting, even if you're right, even if you guess right about how they think you should be acting, then they raise the bar. Bruh. They raise the bar because what you're acting now has been normalized, and now they want better from you. That's just... that once you realize that, like say your boss is expecting a certain level of work and you start doing that or acting that way, and then they expect more to do more work because now this is what you are and you can always push for more. Oh, fuck me, dude. Once you realize that's the game that you've been playing with yourself for 27 fucking years, it's so nice to be able to let that go. And you let that go how you let anything go. You stop holding on. You just release. Oh, the tension in your body. Release it. I got goosebumps. I'm so at peace. My neck's a bit stiff. Oh, I'm not even gonna play that fucking game anymore. Why would I spend my time trying to guess how you think I should act? And then even if I get it right, you're going to change what you think. It's an impossible game. Why play it? Why submit yourself to torture? No one's mad at you because what they're really doing is trying to play mental chess with themselves and against reality, and you're actually not involved at all. Because even if you act how they want, they will change it. If you don't act how they want, they will try to manipulate you into acting that way. And that's their problem. That's not your problem that you didn't act how they wanted, because you can't tell how they wanted you to act. Even if you can, you're probably wrong and they'll change it anyway. So it's literally pointless to act in a way that you think other people expect you to. Obviously, that rules apply to being in society with not killing anybody or taking advantage of anybody. You can act in any way you want as long as it doesn't detriment other people. Is pretty much a nice way to live life, okay? If you're not taking from others and you're just putting out love, creativity, energy, art, passion, work, whatever, it's just don't do it to harm anyone else. But that is a fine way to live life, not worrying about other people's perceptions of how they want reality to be, because you can't even tell, and then trying to dance in a way that aligns with what all these people want reality to be, which no two people's reality can be the same, literally. It's so egocentric based on everyone's individual perceptions and what they want in the world, okay? You can't get any of them, you can't guess any of them truly in a way that, you can't capture experience in words that makes you feel the exact way that you would when you feel it, or a movie that experiences a sense of emotion. You can emulate it, but you can't really you don't really get the feeling as if it was you and real, unless they're really good at doing that, okay? That's a good bar to aim for. But yeah, so no one's really mad at you because they're too busy being trapped in their own perception of reality, and you don't actually exist. The version of you that they want you to be exists in their head. But what you're really doing is just living life in your reality, which, if you're not having expectations and trying to predict outcomes and steer things to happen in a certain outcome that your perception aligns to, then you're aligned with true reality. So the way to peace is to not expect outcomes or behaviors by anyone. It's to experience what is actually happening with them without holding negative energy based on your perception that didn't align with reality. That's just, if someone wants to do something, just let them do it. Don't put your perception on them that they shouldn't do that based on how you think they should act, because it's not their business how you think, and you can't actually control them anyway. All you can do is grade your relationship, rubbing it together because you're like, I think it should be this way, and I'm going to belittle you until you do it. So it's if you realize that's what you've been doing, then you realize that's what they're doing back to you. So it's the reverse is true. No one's actually mad at you, and you're not actually mad at anybody else. You can't love someone unconditionally if you want to control their behavior, because to put conditions on your love is to limit what they're doing based on what you want the reality to be. So you can't love another person if you're trying to control their actions, because whatever they do is true, and you have to accept that and learn to just love experiencing that, whatever it is, because there's no other option. The other option is getting stuck in your own head and getting angry at reality for not aligning to what you think it should be. And it's not even reality. What you're thinking isn't reality. What happens is reality. What you guess reality is going to be isn't reality. The past isn't reality. Reality is happening right now. And you can only experience it without holding conditions to find peace and happiness and joy, or you can get hung up on things that should, as in my reality thought it should be like this, but it's not. Should is such a weird word because that's literally a manifestation of what I'm talking about. You saying should means you had an idea of what reality should be, is, and then the real reality isn't meeting up with that. You should have done this. It should be like that. He should have done that. I wanted him to do that and he didn't do that. And so now I'm putting negative energy out towards that because I think it should have been a way. And like maybe I'm doing that constructively in my own head to try to fix things in a positive light. But really I'm just putting my own shit onto external factors of how they are traveling through reality. Man, I just think that we're a bunch of energy in our bodies and controlling these things. I think that like energy is just everywhere in the universe, and when a body comes, whether that's a human body or an animal body or anything else, it's like the energy has to go into that body because energy can't be created or destroyed, and your brain is electrical energy, so it has to get into you, and once it's in you, it pilots you, and it's just experiencing humanity and life. It's going from an energetic celestial body form into a human form, and then it's experiencing, feeling, touching, loving, hating, like joy, peace. And then it returns to the giant electrical field and becomes unconscious because it is just everything. Everything vibrates. Everything is energy. So why would you spend your time? You come down from the great electrical field into a body to feel and experience, and you spend that time imagining a reality that doesn't exist and then trying to put negative energy out into the world to try to align what reality is to what you think it is. But all you're doing is experiencing. So why don't you just experience instead of worrying about how things should be? Because how things should be doesn't exist. It's your mental trap. What is happening is life. And what you're experiencing is a gift. We only are here for like 100 or less years typically. We happen to be alive at the same time. That other person came from the energy that I came from. So we are the same. We are all one. Why would I bother hating somebody who is me? It's just experience. It's just leaving the great unconscious body, getting to go loose and experience for 100 years, and you're going to hate them for that. But that's what you're doing. You're just jumping down from the great field to experience, or heaven, or God, this whole, whatever you want to call it. You're all just getting a cheeky tour of life and the world that's being created. So why would you bother channeling negative energy and channeling hate and channeling animosity about reality not aligning to what you want it to be? Because if reality was exactly what you wanted, it wouldn't be real, because it's just a manifestation of exactly your perfect experience. If everything is exactly how you expect it to be, it's all the same and it's all everything. It's like, that's back being in the electrical field, is like you are everything, and you come here to be separated from everything to experience it. So why would you want to be able to control what happens? Because that's not an experience, that's like cultivation, I guess. That's like railroad experience. But then what's the point? It's just a show, it's just a movie. This life is way better because it's optimized. It's the circumstances aren't guaranteed. You just have an idea that they are, and then are trying to exert your will over reality to make that happen. But really, it's all just fucking random. You just get to experience it. You are here alive, and you get to experience it. Like, this is fucking, what the fuck? We're here on a fucking space rock. Like, and you hate me? Like, are you serious, dude? You're like, even getting to hate, I guess, is experience. Like, you should be thankful that you hate me because you're experiencing. You're here. It's fucking beautiful, man. Anyway, I think that's about it for the podcast. It's really nice just to rant to the camera by myself. I'm going to have some more guests come on soon. It's just a matter of getting shit organized with university and work, being the Christmas shopping season's pretty hectic at the moment. But this one was pretty easy to do, so maybe I'll do a couple more like this in the meantime. Try to articulate some of my ideas so I can test them against some other guests. Because no one's here to challenge or help me or tell me where I'm rambling to elaborate on. So I just assume that you're getting everything I'm saying. But thank you so much. Thank you actually so much for being here. I really like podcasting. I watch a few podcasts so much and it just gives me such love and joy. But then I get imposter syndrome about being a podcaster, which is like tall poppy syndrome in Australia is really bad for that. So, but it has to be different than all my other YouTube attempts. Otherwise, I'm just playing the same game with myself. And my expectations of needing traction that don't align to reality of no traction stops me. Like, then I change what I'm doing to stop doing it. But I'm just going to do it because I want to do it and I love doing it and I love verbalizing my philosophies and I love talking to people about philosophy and mental traps we get stuck in. This is a good way to do it and hopefully a way to launch myself into a larger platform that now I can get more prestige kind of guests on and actual people that would want to join me on this platform to talk about this sort of stuff. This is a way to spread my name out there so I can try to find like-minded people that I can talk to about this stuff. Because if I just talk to myself, then no one hears about it. Or if I just think these thoughts and I don't share them with the world and trying to relate experience with you and hopefully help you through things that you're stuck on, that I've been stuck on. Like, I want to help so bad, but I don't want to take the dignity from growing from you. But if I can help nudge you in the right direction by like clearing a couple of mental traps that you have with revelation or like a new way to look at it, then like we're helping each other be better and the world be better. So thank you so much for watching. Please, if you have any like tips about mental traps, if you have any experiences that have made you grow and change your perception upon, that you want to share, please put it in the comments. Or even message me and you can come on the podcast and we can talk about it because I just want to grow with people and experience more and verbalize what the hell we're doing and why we're doing it and what we're getting stuck on and how we can help each other through it. So yes, again, thank you so much and we'll end it there.
So thank you for watching and see you next time.
It's so good.